I am a professional caricature artist, and people always ask me, are you self-taught or did you go to school to learn? My answer is that I used books, courses, and watching other artists. In this video, I'll tell you my top 3 books for learning the art of caricature. Okay, book number 3 on my list is How to Draw Caricatures by Lenn Redman. This is an awesome book. It's one of the very first books I ever bought to learn how to draw caricatures. It says copyright 1984, Lenn Redman. So it was first published in 1984. And it's a great book. This is the table of contents. And this book starts off, it teaches you how to draw an average face, and it calls it an in-betweener. And he shows the differences between an in-betweener and the person that you're drawing. And he also shows where the average feature placement will be, if that makes any sense. And this book is just filled with great caricatures, and he breaks down a bunch of examples. Here you can see a triangle and a square example. And you probably saw me breaking down some of these exact same shapes in my videos. Here he's imagining there's a triangle shape to this head, and so he draws it that way. Look at this, it's just full of fantastic examples. He's breaking down the face, starts off with the basics, and then he goes on to the features. Here's the part I wanted to show you. He's got lots of examples where he's breaking down the face. He's got a photo of the face and a drawing that he did. And these are great, and so you can really take this book and just draw your way through it. You can do your own versions of these faces. Put up a warning, and it's one of the best books out there. There's even a section later on in the book about how to draw bodies, but I do have to in the section where it shows how to draw bodies, there's a lot of nude examples, so you probably would not want to buy this book for your kids. But other than that, it is a fantastic book on how to draw caricatures. And in the back they have a gallery of the commercial art that he and other artists used to do way back in the good old days. And so there's a link in the description if you want to get a copy of this book, but it's How to Draw Caricatures by Lenn Redman. Okay, book number 2 on my list is A Caricaturist's Handbook by Jim Keyl. Subtitle, How to Draw Caricatures and Master Exaggeration. This one was published in 2010 by Jim Keyl. Here's a good look at the table of contents. You've got caricature theory, designing caricature, putting it all together, keeping a sketchbook gallery and further reading. This book is again fantastic. So here he's explaining all the different types of caricature, and that's something that I think a lot of people do not realize, that there's a wide variety of caricature. It's not one size fits all. For example, he's got here a very slight caricature, very slight, and this one is just a slight caricature, a mild caricature. He calls it spicy caricature. I'd call it exaggerated, very exaggerated. Let's see here. And then he calls this one extreme caffeine. So that's extreme caricature to the point of distortion. And then here we have a designy style. It's a caricature, but it looks like a design. Then you have a party sketch caricature and a sculpture caricature. And the list goes on and on. there's a wide variety of different types of caricatures, and he basically breaks down how to create these caricatures. He's showing here what is exaggeration. This is an old person. This is a very old person. It's exaggerated. He writes down that this girl is pretty or this girl is gorgeous, because the prettiness is exaggerated. This girl has full lips. This girl has full lips. So it's an exaggeration. And there's all types of aspects of a face that you can exaggerate, not just the features. You can exaggerate the feeling that you're getting from someone. So again, he starts off with how to draw the average face and where the average features would be placed. And then he just starts putting them side by side to, how do you say, contrast each other so that you know what to exaggerate. And he's got examples of that. And he's showing, looking for shapes in the face. What I like about this book and what makes it distinct is that he has lots of techniques that you won't see in other books, like looking for the shapes inside the face. This is almost like the Riley rhythms, but not quite. It's more basic than that and specific to each face. So he looks for those shapes, and then he uses those to create a caricature, and that's just one of the techniques in here. And here he's got a technique where he's cutting out pieces of paper and then putting them together to create a caricature. And I guess that would really, if you tried that, that would get your mind into looking for shapes. Here he has a theory where he's using a triangle to find a caricature in a face. So it's just full of good stuff and examples. Here he's looking for shapes again, and he's comparing different things. Now here's the part I wanted to show you. In this technique, he's putting two people side by side and then caricaturing both of them based on the differences. He doesn't have a lot of drawings here, but he's just showing you, just look at the photo and then pass your eye from here to here quickly, and you'll see the differences in the face, and that almost immediately show you what you should be exaggerating. So he's matched up these pairs of faces so that you can look back and forth and see what is the differences. And it's just full of great techniques like that. And it's just a unique book on how to draw caricatures. There's a small section there on how to draw bodies, and then he has a gallery in the back also. So that's it. It's a fantastic book. There's a link in the description of the video if you want to get a copy of this. It's one of my favorites. Okay, and the number one book on my list of favorite caricature books is The Mad Art of Caricature by Tom Richmond. Now, Tom Richmond used to draw for Mad Magazine, and this is probably the Godzilla of all caricature books. So this one, and this copy here was signed by Tom Richmond to me when I went to his course. I attended his weekend workshop where he's teaching how to draw caricatures. This was published in 2011. I went to his workshop, I think, in 2017, and I think I went again in 2019. I know I went twice, but I can't remember the exact years. But here's a good look at the table of contents. And I like his definition for caricature. Let's see if I can find it. I don't see it on here. Right? I think I went past it, but his definition of caricature is it's a portrait with the volume turned up. Here it is. A caricature is a portrait with the volume turned up. I like that because a lot of caricature, that's kind of a emotional language, the volume turned up. And a lot of caricature is conveying the emotion that you're seeing. There's a lot of technique to it. There's a science and an art to it. But I like that language, volume turned up. And so he starts off with theory. He's showing you some basic examples, and then he starts in on the, he shows a little bit about the different levels of exaggeration. Not as much as Jim Vanderkeel, but he shows a little bit. And then he breaks down his techniques, the 5 shapes, and the head shapes, the T shape within the head shape, and then how to exaggerate the head shape. Here he's, even at some point he imagines what their head kind of reminds him of: a light bulb, a slice of pizza, a brick, a toaster. Look at this, he's even breaking down the muscles. And then once he gets past the techniques, he basically has a chapter on most of the features: the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Is a whole chapter on the rest of the head, of course. He's got a chapter on eyes and a section on eyebrows. So he's breaking it down feature by feature. Here's the hair section. Check that out. So this is probably the quintessential book on caricature creation. And then he's got this one chapter which I really like, and that is one chapter on drawing live, because that's what I do a lot. I draw people live. And he talks about the business and the challenges of drawing people live, and what it might look like. He goes back over the theory a little bit, and then he breaks down his method, his step-by-step method of what line he draws first, what line he draws second, what line he draws third, and he moves all the way through his method. And lots of examples. And then, of course, he has a gallery in the back of the book also of a lot of illustration that he's done. So all of these books are fantastic. You should really check them out. The only thing I would say is that this book is the only one that has a chapter on drawing live. And the theory in every book will help you to draw live. But I'm going to be trying to create an entire course on how to draw live. Rather than just have one chapter, I'm going to try to have like 12 lessons, which would be like 12 chapters. But that's my 3 books. There's links in the description to get all 3, and I hope you do.